Good morning. Payroll and Employers Federal Tax Spreadsheet Form 944. It is a free payroll spreadsheet that you can find at ninasoap.com, our blog, under free download. You don't need to enter your email or subscribe to access our free download section of our blog. This spreadsheet is simple and it can work for you if your business is new and you are the only one that is an employee in the business. If that's an S corp, or if that's an L.L.C, you have only one employee. Or even better, if that's an S corp or L.L.C tax as an S corp and you are the only employee and you don't collect salary on a regular basis. It is a spreadsheet you can design yourself if you want, or you can download it for free from our blog to track your payroll. And I believe it is suitable for Form 944, but it can work for Form 941 as well. So Form 944 is Employers' Annual Federal Tax Return. You file it at the end of the year, while Form 941 is Employers' Quarterly Federal Tax Return. You file 941 on a quarterly basis. And this spreadsheet has 4 tabs for each quarter, so it can work for Form 941 in some way, even better than Form 944, in that sense that you can track your payrolls by quarter. It does not come with a tab that has the total of all the quarters. In that sense, if you pay yourself on a regular basis and you use different tab for each quarter to file Form 944, you have to total each quarters, and the few rows at the end are the main rows for Form 944, and it has the total wages section as well. That is important, so you have to total them for all the quarters, and you can do that on another tab by just clicking on a plus sign to add one and total them there. But if you pay yourself like once a year and you only use one quarter for your data, then it will work well for Form 944 as well. And if you pay yourself throughout the year but you use just one tab for all your entry and you add dates to specify, you can add dates at the end of the spreadsheet or at the beginning of it. You can add date or quarters. It might work as well. This spreadsheet won't work for you if you have multiple employees and you need to track your payroll at a detailed level. It won't work for you if your total tax liability, and by total tax liability, I'm talking about employees, federal tax income, employees, social security tax withheld, employees, Medicare tax withheld, employers' social security tax, employers' Medicare tax. So if all those taxes are $2,500 or more, this spreadsheet may not work for you because you have to report those tax liability by month on the form 944. And this spreadsheet will work for you if you estimate your tax liability to be less than $1,000 a year. So you can download it and see if that's something that can work for you if you do not have a software to track your payroll, and if your business is you just started out. I tend to design my spreadsheets based on my business need, and as we move forward I will adjust it, and over time it gets complicated. So I have designed another one last year that was a little bit more detailed than this one, and I had this one prior to the one that I designed last year. But after I was done designing the one that I designed last year, I wanted to add more feature to it. So I believe we might have it on the free download session as well. But you can check our free downloads to see what templates we have there that might be useful in your business. And we sell templates as well at liberdownload.com. So we will have another one that will have the total to it, but it might be for sale at liberdownload.com. But in the meantime, we can have this one. We already have this one at ninasoap.com probably a few years ago, or last year or 2 years ago. But I revised it this year because I use it for my business, and I revised it by adding few columns to it and few notes so that it is easier to understand. So I have some notes that you can either find it at the top or find it on the right next to the cell that is related to it. That can be helpful if you are new to filing Form 944. But please remember, those lines are related to Form 944, not Form 941. I'm talking about like line 4A:2, for instance, is related to Form 944. And I used it this year to file Form 944. So when I revise it, I remove Form 941. But the one we have at ninasoap.com has Form 941. I will add this one there as well. So you'll have both. Both are by quarters, and they don't have the total session. So how do you use this spreadsheet? This is the blank one. That's the one you will access. And this is an example. You will enter your name, because I collect salary from the business only 1 quarter a year. It was enough of a spreadsheet for my need. So you will enter your name, and or the employee's name, and if you pay by hour, you'll enter the hours work. You'll enter the wage per hour, and that will calculate the total wages for you. Also, if you have tips, you'll add it, or if you pay a flat amount, you can just enter it in the salary or other compensation section, and the total wages will just total wages per hour and tips and other compensation to the total wages section. There is a lot that goes into wages. You know, you have wages, tips, and other compensation. And other compensation include a lot. So if you want detail on that, you can read IRS publication. There is one on fringe benefits to see what kind of fringe benefits an S-corp owner should report as compensation on their W-2, on his or her W-2. So if you take some benefit from your business, it will be considered as an income for you, therefore should be reported on your W-2 and should be a part of this session as well. So, but if that's just, you know, salary from your that you collect, so you enter your salary, and if you are collecting salary for like on a regular basis, your business is paying you on a regular basis, you might want to think about adding dates as well. So, and again, it was not designed at that detail level, so it has room for improvement, the spreadsheet. So you can just, like when you click, you can insert more rows and add dates if you want to add days, or add months if you want to add months, so that when you need to, you know, total them by months, for instance, or by quarters, or depending on your need, it is adjustable. The formula is not locked, so you can adjust the spreadsheet to fit your need. Okay, so you will have your compensation and the total wages will be calculated, but then you need to figure out the employee federal income tax, and publication 15T will guide you into estimating how much you should withhold from the wage or the compensation based on some criteria. And we do not have formula there, because you have to choose the method that will work for you, and you stick to it so that you know what you are using. But then you have employee social security, and at the moment is 6.2%, and the Medicare is 1.45. So it's going to calculate it for you, and the Medicare will calculate as well. But then we have employees total tax withheld, which is the employee federal income tax, social security, and Medicare tax. So the employee net payroll is take home pay, and take home pay is pretty much your wages, your gross pay minus all the taxes withheld from it. And then we have employer social security, which is the same as the other one, 6.2% and 1.45% for Medicare. So that will calculate on the total wages as well. And the Medicare will calculate on the total wages. The total employer total tax is pretty much the portion the employer will pay. And keep in mind that Social Security employer, you do not withhold Social Security on employees that you pay over a certain dollar amount, and it is in the publication as well. And it could vary by year, so you will need to check to see what I think it is 142,800, I believe, for 2021. When you file Form 944, you will see the limit there. And Medicare, when you pay more than $200,000 to an employee, anything over that $200,000, you will charge an additional 0.9% Medicare tax on that. And Medicare tax will be withheld from the employer's salary past that limit for Social Security. And after it reaches $200,000, you will start charging an extra 9% for Medicare tax. But after it reaches 142,800, if I believe, you will stop withholding Social Security tax. So that's something to consider. But if you are not collecting that much from your business, there is no need to worry about that. So the employee total tax is just what the business will pay out of his own pocket. So employer total tax to pay, which is a little bit confusing, but it's just taking what you withhold from the employee's wages and what the portion you will pay yourself. So 1657 and 1657 will give you 3314. That's pretty much what that is. But then when you complete Form 944, those taxes are requested at the total level. So that's why I added this extra column, so that you don't have to do the totals yourself. You will need the total Social Security tax, the one you withheld from from all your employees' wages, and the one you pay yourself, the business pay in to match the employee's portion. And you need the total Medicare paid, the total Medicare withheld from all the employees' wages, and the portion the business paid. And you pretty much need both combined as well. So that's those two rows combined. And total employee income tax, let me move this formula here. So total employee income tax is just taking it from the column we addressed earlier. And the Social Security tax, for instance, is pretty much taking the total wages times both taxes together. And this, it is the sum of the employees and the employers' tax rates. And the Medicare is the same as well. Is taking 145 plus 145, or 145 times 2. And that'll just be the same as totaling for the total for the Social Security tax. You can either total for the employee and from the employer, and that'll be 4028. And the Medicare will be totaling the employee and the employer, and that'll be 942. So instead of having to calculating those total, we add it at the end. So that's how this spreadsheet works. Now there is two things that I didn't address in detail. Let's go to it. So if you pay yourself an amount, you roll a check, you didn't, before that, you didn't calculate, you didn't estimate how much the Social Security to withhold, how much Medicare tax to withhold, and how much federal income tax to withhold, and you just take an amount out of, as a pay out of the business, you will need to back into it to see how much the gross was, because how much you took will be a take-home pay. So you will need to then calculate how much the gross pay was for you to be able to take that amount home. So one way to do that, if you have Excel spreadsheet, this is an Excel spreadsheet. So if you are using it as an Excel spreadsheet, let's take an example here. Let's say you took $2,000, for instance. So if you take $2,000 and you are wondering, okay, so how to back into it, you have two options. One will be, in fact, you have three options. First, you should calculate how much the gross will be for you to take 2,000. So the second option is, if you already took it, then you can go to data and you click on what if analysis and you click on goal seek. But please make sure you have the cell, the amount you took home. That's where you'll click first, the mouse, and then you go to data and you click on what if analysis and you click on goal seek, and you will enter in the cell of to value, you'll enter $2,000, and by changing cell you click there, and then you come back to your spreadsheet and the same row that you click on, now where you have the formula, but before the formula, and you make sure you're on the same row, you click there. So that will be row 15. So you make sure you're on the same row and then you click OK. So automatically it's going to calculate the Social Security and the Medicare for you. So that's why you will withhold from a gross for you to have 2,000 take home. So now if you think based on the amount you took, you should have withheld federal income tax, then you need to estimate it as well. And it will be a good idea to have an estimate there before you do the calculation, or you may have to do it twice. So let's take a look at it. Usually the amount that I pay myself are low enough that I don't need a federal to withhold a federal income tax. But if you are taking something and you have a feeling that you might owe income tax, it would be a good idea to go to publication 15T. So how do you find the publication 15T? We have under ninasop.com, under free download, we have a link. We have a page for IRS links. So you'll find the links to publication 15 there. But if you want to look for it yourself, you will type irs.gov, and under irs.gov you will tap publication 15T, and then you will need to press the search icon. So I think they have a new one for this year. But yeah, let's click on that. So you will click on it and it will give you the PDF version. So it'll be good to save it so that you have it for your own record. So there is two tables here that I will suggest. One will be to use the first one. Let's just go to 9. You can read through it. There is a way to complete W4 and have it in file, and if you are going to take some exemptions. But again, I don't really, even with my, usually I don't really update W4 to take exemption, so I'm not going to go through that. But if you want to pay to withhold minimum tax, you can go through it to complete it, and it's going to be extra work, but it's going to help you know how much you can withhold if you don't want to withhold a lot. So you can use this first table, percentage method table, for automated payroll system and withholding on periodic payments of pensions and annuities. So this one, if you are using this one, you need to estimate how much you are going to pay yourself in a year. If you have an estimate on your annual salary, then this will work for you, because it's going to be on an annual basis. You know, if they adjust the annual amount on the worksheet A, so it's annual. So that's 2,000. If we assume that 2,000 is for the whole year, then you will look. If you want to withhold based on merit filing jointly, then they say the amount should be at least $0 but less than 13,000. So you have at least colon but less than colon. So the dollar amount should not be over the limits on the upper right side. So 2,000 is between 0 and 13,000 brackets. So for filing jointly, you are not going to withhold anything. If the dollar amount, let's say 2,000 is what you take a month, so that's about 24,000 a year, then 24,000 will fall between 13,000 and 33,550. So that'll be the second row. And they say you are now withholding anything plus 10% of anything over 13,000. So that means 24,000 minus 13,000 will give you a difference that you'll turn by 10%. That's what you will withhold for the annual salary. That's for the whole year. And then you can divide it by 12 to find how much you will withhold by month. So that's one way to do it. If you collect salary on a regular basis and you don't have an estimate on what your annual will be, or even if you do, another option is wages bracket method table for manual payroll system with Form W4 from 2020 or later. And again, it shows how to complete this form to see the exemptions that you will take, and you can complete it. But what I wanted to draw your attention to is the table related to the manual method for W2 after 2020. It does not give you a portion to withhold and then calculate a percentage on the amount in excess of. Let me go back and show you the other table again. Something that I didn't really explain there. usually the limits on the, okay, so this portion here is the first dollar amount that you will withhold once you determine where the annual salary, the bracket the annual salary will fall under or within. There is a flat amount that you will withhold, but then there is a percentage that you have to calculate on the difference between that annual salary minus, usually it is the at least dollar amount, the left side of the tax bracket. You will see them here again, so I didn't really emphasize on that. So, and that's why we are using the 33,550. That's the one here. So if your salary is 20, we are using 13,000. So if your annual salary is 24,000, so here is 0, but it could have been a dollar amount there, plus 10% times that 24,000 minus 13,000. So 24,000 minus 13,000 will give you a dollar amount times 10%. That is what you will take plus anything that will be in this column. So if the dollar amount is, for instance, 97,000, for instance, you will be in these tax brackets for Merifari jointly. So automatically, you are going to withhold 9,615, and then you will need to take 22% times that 97,000 minus 96,550. So whatever the difference is, times 22% will give you a dollar amount. You add it to 9,615 to find the total income tax for that year, and you divide it by 12 to find how much to estimate for a month, since that 97,000 is going to be for the year and this is for the year. So you have to now divide it by 12 to break it down if you are paying yourself on a monthly basis. So now let's go back to wages, the estimate based on manual process. So this one does not give you that that percentage to do multiplication with. It gave you an estimate to work with, dollar amount to work with. So at least, but less than, you still have the brackets, but then you need to find yourself whether it's referring jointly or head of household or separate or single, and then you will find the dollar amount that you need to withhold. They have the standard withholding, and then they have the form W2 if step 2 checkbox withholding is checked. So, and you have to pull W4 to see that checkbox they are talking about. But you can read through this form as well. Is going to determine, is going to guide you how much to withhold, and that's if you wanted to have a lot of exemptions to work with. But I like to just go the simple route, and if you withhold more, you'll have a refund. So let's go back. I went a little bit, okay, so and the form is simple for this for the manual process one, but if you put W2, you will see what the boss 2 check is about. So we are going to take an example here. So if you, let's see, something to point out. Why am I going to that? So something to point out that for the manual process, they have multiple tables. You have weekly payroll. So if you are paying weekly, you'll use that. They have bi-weekly. This one is bi-weekly. I just went past it. Okay, bi-weekly. And if we assume you are paying yourself on a monthly basis, you will need to scroll to the period. So semi-monthly, you will use that table for it. Semi-monthly, and monthly. So if you are paying yourself $2,000 a month and you are married filing jointly, then you want the first bracket to start with at least 2,000, and we do have one here. Not the top, but so it says at least 2,000 but less than 2,030. So at least 2,000, you'll fall under the bracket, and you'll withhold $95 if the check to on your W4 is checked. For standard withholding, you will withhold $0, and that's that. But if you are paying yourself on a quarterly basis or on an annual basis, it might be a good idea to use the table at the beginning, because the manual process does not go that far. It has daily as well. I think this one, okay. It has daily, but let's go back to 9. You go down. But if you are paying yourself once a year, you can use, the first one and estimate. Okay, this computer is acting up. Okay, you can estimate your annual pay and just estimate how much your tax will be and divide it based on the number of times you'll pay yourself during the year to withhold something on a regular basis. So if you estimated that you are going to pay yourself 2,000 for the whole year, then there is now a tax here to withhold. So let's go back. Is it 2,000? Yeah, so there is none. So that will take us back to our spreadsheet. Let's go back to our quarter 4. And so that means your gross is 2,165 and your take home pay is 2,000, and you withheld $165.67 for Social Security and Medicare. So that's how you'll view it. Another way of calculating this, if you don't know how to use goal seek, will be to sum up those two taxes. So that'll give you 7.65%. And how you'll do it is, okay, you know you take $2,000 or you want to take $2,000, but how much the gross will be for those taxes withheld will give you the net 2,000. Assuming you do not have to withhold anything for federal, so you'll take equal $2,000 divided by, and then you open the parentheses and you do 1 minus 0.062, 6.2%, that's 6.2 divided by 100. I believe that will give you 0.062. And then you'll take the Medicare one as well. So that'll be minus 0.0145. So 1.45% divided by 1.45% is 1.45 divided by 100. And I believe it will give you 0.0145. So we will close it. And you'll notice that it gave you the same answer. So that's one way to calculate it as well. And if that's something you have to do often, it might be a good idea to have a formula somewhere on top that you can refer to. So the formula will be the rate. It could be 1 minus 0.062 minus 0.0145. And having it there, then when you know you collect 2,000 and you wanted to know what the gross will be, is equal $2,000 divided, I just press the bar on my keyboard, divided, and then you click on this one here and you press enter. But I can go further and add a $sign there, so that if I want to copy that formula, I have that one fixed in it. And you'll notice it gave you the same dollar amount. So each time you wanted to calculate that, you will copy that formula. I just click on copy, and if I paste it here, I will have to paste it as a special, keep source formatting, and inside that, if it's not 2,000, then I will change it. So let's say it's 3,000, I will change it, but it will keep, you know, it will keep pointing at that rate that I put there, instead of me tapping it again in it, 1 minus 0.062 minus 0.0145 each time I wanted to do that. So that's different ways to do it. So I'm just going to take all of this out. So that's how this spreadsheet works. So if you are going to use one column, one tab, we have 4 semesters here, but if you are just going to use one of it to track your payroll, it will work well for you when you are filing Form 941. But if your total with tax liability will be $2,500, and you have to detail your tax, your tax by month. Tax by month will just be your total liability. It will be this section, total tax. If you have to be, you know, this closing your tax liability by month. If you are using one tab, it will be good to add dates, so that you know what month you pay what month you pay what, so it will work. And if you are going to file Form 941, it could work as well when you have multiple quarters that you are free to use. So that's how this spreadsheet works, and it can work. It can be useful as well when you are filing W-2 and W-3 with Social Security Administration. So I use it to file that, and there will be a video on how to e-file W-2 and W-3 with Social Security. Thank you so much for watching. And again, we have a note session to pretty much explain those tax brackets that I showed you earlier on publication 15 with the link to it. Thank you for your time. Thank you so much for watching our videos. Thank you for your time. We thank you for all your comments, and thank you so much you all that subscribe to our channel. I'm Afiavi-Liberman, creators of Liberman Consulting L.L.C YouTube channel, NinaSoap.com our blog, and we do have our online stores including LiberDownload.com for our digital products, and we have LiberLabel.com for custom apparels and stationery, Liber outlets for resale stores as a resale stores, and NinaSoap.com for natural products. If you are having issue tracking your payroll, you can give it a try to see, but it's very important when you start out and you start collecting salary from your business to track your payroll, because you will need it to complete Form 944, the annual form, or Form 941, the quarterly return, or W-2